Hello, welcome to the West Ham Oi Oi show live. Yes, right here on Irons United. Just wanted to come live because I thought it was a momentous game that we had against Bournemouth. The whole fan base is buzzing, of course. I'm just going to get the chat going as well, so you can all let me know your thoughts and come and say hello if you want to. I was going to do this at 7 o'clock. Tonight, but do you know what? I thought I couldn't wait to get my thoughts out there. What did I think? Hello, Bernardo. How are you? Good to see you here. I wanted to talk about Moyes. I wanted to talk about the game, the players, but I also wanted to talk about the future under Moyes. Obviously, there's a big uneasiness about him coming back to the club by a big percentage of the fan base. Yes, there are some people who are fans who are really pro him coming back, but many weren't. I was very content with Moyes when he gave his interview for the website. West Ham TV channel, YouTube channel. I was very content with his press conference, but then again, the other part of me was thinking, well, you're just saying the stuff that any manager should be saying. The proof is really going to be in the pudding. I wasn't expecting anything from the Bournemouth game, even though there should have been a bounce, even though there should have been some kind of fight from the players. I wasn't expecting anything because I was going to give Moyes these 2 or 3 days to, just feel his way around the club, feel his way around the players, and just get in there. I'll stop that. Let me just have a quick say. Bernardo Silva, yeah, man, 4-0, fantastic result. I know. Moyes, I like that from Mitchell Belzano. Yeah, thank you. Do you think Noble will overtake Lampard's penalty scoring record? Lampard has 4 more. I think he will. There's no doubt that he's Mr. Penalty Taker, isn't he? He's Mr. West Ham, but he's Mr. Penalty Taker. Evening from South Australia, 3:50 a.m. on Friday morning. Craig, hello, Neil. How are you? Just Winder, hello, hi, how are you? Good to see you here. Happy New Year to all of you from Ian as well. When at West Ham and dump on me again, David Boyes 2020. Yeah, I was very upset with the lack of disrespect shown to David when he was announced as manager. He's a very experienced, technically astute manager. Just went. Do you know what? I was of the same opinion. I wasn't necessarily keen on him coming back. I thought it wasn't choice, but I was certainly willing to get behind him and willing to show him the support that I think any player and any manager should have from a fan. I think there was a bit too many people jumping the gun here. I would be. I wouldn't say that I was 100% in favour of him, but as soon as we got him, then we should have his support. Or give him our support. Anyway, let's get back to the game. Ready? For his press conference, he was saying all the right stuff, but I wasn't expecting too much. But blow me, I tell you what, we came out the blocks and we were fighting fit. We looked a totally different side. Forget about the result. Forget about the goals. We just looked a different team. We just looked great. We looked up for it. We were pressing, something that we haven't really been doing enough of in the last long time. Could be the last three or 4 years. Certainly since we've learned the stadium, not pressing enough. And I think Moyes has come in, and he's basically said the same thing as he said last time to the players. Right, you've got to work. You've got to show, that you deserve a place in this team. And if you don't, you're not playing. And I love that. Now, whether he's actually said that or not, I don't know. But if he has, that's the kind of attitude I want. There were lots of players on the pitch who were fantastic, and we'll kind of talk about that in a minute. But for me, everybody's talking about Mark Noble, which was fantastic. A brilliant performance from him. Ogbonna, brilliant performance. But for me, the man who started it off and got us going, got the the heart pumping, and we were all up, wherever you were in the world, watching it. Everybody was thinking, "Come on, come on, come on!" Robert Snodgrass for me. He was the one who was actually starting to work those channels down the right-hand side, and I love that. I love that. Right, let's get back into the chat. Yeah. Do you think Yarmolenko... Sorry, Jack J. Hammer, hello. Do you think Yarmolenko will go? If so, would you replace him? Do you know, I don't think he will. I think Moyes is going to... I don't think he is going to get rid of any players in this window. There's obviously, the transfer rumour merry-go-round going on right now. We're talking about, Barbosa. There's talking about, a cheeky little bid being put in for 17 million. That's just come out today, I think, into Milan. Apparently, Flamengo can't afford his wages. We can, obviously. There's talk of the lad from Brentford. I forgot his name. But apparently, they've shut the door on that deal. Look, we still got players out on loan. Don't forget, whether they decide to bring those back. Yes, Hugo, I know. Yes, but Diangana. So I actually went to see Hugo play a couple of weeks ago for QPR against Reading. He didn't do too bad. I thought the lad Eze, who we've had our eye on for a while, was a tricky player, confident player, skillful player, but not a lot of end product. I think he's still quite young. So even if we had that sort of target in mind, I think they'd have to be developed for the future as opposed to coming in straight into the first team, or to the first team squad, I should say. But anyway, look, just remember, here we go. Some managers suit certain clubs, and I think Moyes and West Ham will be a good match as they're very similar to Everton. Do you know, I don't think you're wrong there. I think that is absolutely right. I think we are very similar to a lot of these other clubs. I don't think we should be a hard-working team. We should be a team that should be punching a little bit more above our weight than we have been for a long time. I think we are mid-table, and I think we are mid-table to position 6 kind of potential. I think where the promises that we were made, the aspirations that were given to us by the board, for moving to the London Stadium. Yeah, look, I'm not going to say whether it was right or wrong for them to say. Obviously, it was completely wrong for them to say that. Whether it was a lie or not, all that kind of stuff. I think it's just a pipe dream now to even think that. And I think with David Moyes, this is a kind of another line in the sand. This is right, him coming in, or the board saying, right, we need to get back to basics. We need to simplify it. Look at the job the manager's doing at Watford. He's basically simplifying everything. And look, they're getting wins, they're getting results. And I think, even Mark Noble has kind of implied that what Pellegrini was doing was just too high a level, and we just weren't there. We weren't there as a team, as a squad, as a club, or anything. And I think, Moyes could be the one who will bring us up, who will, cut away all the rubbish, gets back to basics, different formation, or different players in the formations. He may change the formations according to who we're playing. Let's see how his tactical changes are made in games. Let's have a look at his substitutions. Let's have a look at his game-to-game tactics. Let's see how that works out in the next few games. But I'll be really interested in that. I was really interested when he bought off Anderson for Lanzini. Anderson had just scored. The ref had to say to Anderson, look, come on, you're being subbed here. And he was like, but there wasn't much of a problem. And he, gave him a big hug as he walked off and said, look, you've done your job today. You've done a great job today, Anderson. That's it. Time to have a rest now. I love that. And I love the way he's communicating that. Just a very simple thing to Anderson, keeping everybody on board. Lanzini came on, he had a couple of touches, he could have scored, let's face it, so. But Yarmolenko, I don't think is going, to answer your previous point. I don't think is going. I don't think many other players will be going either. I think, if anything, we're going to probably look to strengthen a little bit. If we can get a good deal on people like Barbosa, if we can offload some of the dead wood that just isn't working. We are looking at different goalkeepers, apparently. as well, so that'd be interesting to see. There's talk of Italian goalkeepers coming in. There's obviously talking about Barbosa. My only concern now is if we've got just this one game, this one convincing win, we need to massively build on momentum. When we need fighters, players who want to do everything for the club. And I'm not convinced that getting foreign players in at this stage of the season is going to be the right thing for us, But there we go. But Anderson should be dropped for once. We need a change on the left, mid like Wilshere or Lanzini. Well, I don't think Anderson should be dropped based on the performance yesterday. I think he really showed himself, he showed a great performance there. Yesterday at 3-0 up at half-time, he did not shut up shop and defend out the second half. Maybe he has learned what the fans want. Yeah, I think he's right, Alex. Yeah, I think he's openly said he wants the team to entertain. He wants to get the fans back on side. And for me, whilst he may not be the first choice, I think he might be the right choice. And I think he is saying the right things for us. So I think, that's a good thing. Back him, give him 2 years. Well, they're giving him 18 months with a further year on its extension. The key that we will back it, David. The next 3-4 results don't go away. The real mark on the team will begin to show after the transfer window closes. I agree, Jazz. Just window, I should say. It was interesting what he was saying before about his last stint here. He was saying he was just starting to get things going when his contract came to an end, and I kind of agree. We had struggled even when he first came in. We had a little bit of a bounce, but then we struggled. But it started to pick up towards the end of the season. That's how we survived. I think if he'd been allowed to continue, who knows? Who knows what would have happened? But we were aspiring to keep on going high. I think lots of people talk about the board. Lots of people talk about the liars and all this kind of false promises and all this sort of stuff. I think a lot of it is just they don't know how to run a football club properly. They don't have the acumen or the information that they need. Let's not forget, I don't know if you know about this, but apparently Moyes, under his first stint, he encouraged the club to get in auditors to come and audit the club, and they were shocked at what they found. The disorganisation within the club and everything. So Moyes identified that straight away, and he's basically saying you've got to sort this club out. And maybe now, finally, under Moyes, the background stuff may start to happen. But who knows? And I think, right, we've got to look at him and we've got to support him and support the team. Now, here's the interesting thing. How will we react if results don't start going our way? This is the big thing. Now, for me, the next game is going to be really important, and this is going to be a gauge for me on where Moyes' priorities are, and also if he really has tuned in to what the fans really want. Now, let me know if you agree in the chat here, but do you think that we should put a second-tier team out against Gillingham in the Cup, or should we go 100% and put out a first team? For me, you've got to show intent. You've got to have motivation. You've got to build on the confidence that we've got from this 4-0 victory. I think we should go hell for leather, and if that means stuffing them 10-0, then we stuff them 10-0 with our first team. We cannot take any chances with this. If he goes with a second-tier team, that says it all to me that we're doing this playing, resting the players nonsense, and we're just going to scrape by, and get into the next round. For me, that doesn't work. We've got to, get the fan. If you want the fans on board, we've got to go 100% now in the Premier League and in the Cup, and that's the only thing we can do to the end of the season. Bernardo, Mark Noble deserves an MBE. Well, do you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets something like that at the end of his career. Samantha, sorry, and he is working for his money, unlike Pellegrini, who looked like he was operating at the care home. Moyes has passion, true of many Scottish managers. Do you know what, Samantha? I would agree that I was very critical of Pellegrini about his lack of animation there. Do you know? But there we go. Another interesting point is Moyes has always liked to buy from the Championship, ignoring the UK case. Yeah, where I think some good talent lies, which is often overlooked by foreign managers. I've been saying this for a long, long time. Instead of always going abroad looking for players that are going to take a long time to bed in, we need to get players that are either Premier League ready or Premier League proven players. We cannot go abroad and just get players that are going to take 6 months or a year to find their feet. Just, you take Fornals, for example, and Haller to a certain degree. Fornals especially, it's taken, what, 5 months for him to really start showing us a return. The season will be over if we get a player in now and they need 5 months, you know, and it could be the end of us. We need players that will complement and hit the ground running with us right now. While we are, Milenko and Antonio reserves yesterday. They're injured, weren't they? I'm not sure why. What's Antonio's pickup? Obviously, I know he had the crash, but I don't think there's anything coming off that. Stuart Pearce has to first come out of his current contracts and commitments before. Yeah, there's a big thing with Stuart Pearce right now because obviously he's with TalkSport and he's doing a lot of media stuff, and he's also doing that before he joined Moyes last time. I think there are ongoing negotiations right now. Alan Irvine has obviously come back. He's already joined. You know, I think within the next week or so, we're going to get more. But, you know, look, if Moyes is perfectly capable of taking all this training, coaching by himself, as with Alan Irvine, I think, you know, you'd be calling up from the other coaches at the club, from the academies and everything, to come and help if he has to run in drills and sessions. But I think, we'll find out who's going to join the club soon. Yeah, apparently there were some issues with Antonio as he needed to be rested. Is that Sigur? Yeah, I don't know what they were. I don't know what those issues were, but there we go. With his previous injury. Okay, look, he has been, as soon as he's come back, you know, going hell for leather. We're pinning in all our hopes on Antonio, but, you know, maybe that's it. Maybe he needed to. You know, he had fluid on his hamstring, did he, Antonio? Neil? Okay, I didn't know that. Right, okay, maybe that's it. Oh, look, rest him up. With the game, you know, against Bournemouth, we showed a lot of attacking intent. We showed we were pressing, we were hungry, we were great in defence. Rice, I think, I can't ignore Rice because Rice had, for me, probably one of his best games I've seen in a West Ham shirt. And because he was playing alongside Noble, who was also hungry. And this is what I say about Noble, and I've said it quite a few times now. I think perhaps Noble, if he's playing every week, his performances peak and then they start to drift down. Whereas he has let's say 1 game off, and then all of a sudden he comes back and he's right up there. And I think that's where I've noticed with Noble quite a few times. He'll peak off, everybody starts slating him, and everybody's, oh, Noble, his legs are gone. And then he'll have a game off, and then he'll come back, and he's right up there, and he's virtually our best player, or is our best player, you know. So, but look, the first goal, yeah, fluky deflection, I suppose, but, you know, it was a shot on goal. I think this has always been my criticism of us in the last few years, in that if we're not shooting, you're not going to create any luck, are you? So that's it. Get a few shots on goal. Get crosses. How many times have I been saying to you guys, or everybody, let's say, not just me, we've all been saying it, get width, get crosses into the box, and let's see what happens. You know, work the channels in the final third, you know, press the opposition, don't give them any respite, and any time you get within shooting range, take a bloody shot. And that's what we're doing. And, you know, I think that's what we did yesterday. Not Mark Noble, cracking shot, went in, great goal. Fredericks was putting good balls in. Creswell was putting in good balls. You know, I think the link up between Anderson and Snodgrass for me, great ball. That cutback from Snodgrass to Mark Noble for the first goal, I thought was so intelligent. It would have been so easy to go right across the 6-yard box, but no, he thought, right, just come back, go that way. I thought that was brilliant. Yes, that left for the Anderson goal. You know, that pass from Rice was fantastic, wasn't it? Absolutely fantastic. The touch from Anderson just to get it under control. Put him, you know, he just went past the defender, put him clean on goal. I was just thinking, you're not going to cut back. You're not going to stop this, are you? But no, he didn't. He just went on it, and he needed that. We needed him to have that. He needed that for himself and for us to have belief in him. We knew it was there. It just hasn't been shown it for such a long time. Confidence, and this confidence in the players. It all comes from the manager as well. In that, a manager that says to you, lads, I want you to have possession, but I want you to go and play. That's what we want. Stel, good evening, mate. How are you? Yeah, just go and play. Just go and have fun. Express yourselves. And that's what we want. Yes, we've got to be resolute in defence. Yes, we've got to be, boss in the midfield. But look, when we're going forward, go forward with intent. Look, that second goal from what an absolute beauty that was. I think that's probably got to be in the easily the top 10 best goals at the London Stadium from a West Ham player. I think Andy Carroll's volley was probably one of the best, if not the best one. But that isn't far off. I gotta say that was a beautiful strike. A beautiful strike. I loved his reaction. It's almost kind of Eric Cantona-esque. Do you know what I mean? It was kind of like, yeah, I just scored. Yeah, what of it? Do you know what I mean? It was brilliant. Love that. I love that kind of arrogance. That kind of finally get a ball into me, and I'll either put it on my head or whack it in with my foot. Brilliant. Stel, fantastic display. The players looked to play with more belief. They did. They had so much belief. They had so much ambition. There's so much more desire to break down attacks. They were, hunting in packs. It was just a joy to watch, and we've all been saying the same, that it's just been horrible to watch for too long. And what a day makes, what a difference a day makes, what a difference a new manager makes, what a difference a new mentality makes. And look, we hope that this can carry on. This is the thing. Can it carry on? Can they build on from it? Can they go into the next game against Gillingham? Can they carry this form forward? Can they be consistent? We're not expecting to win every match. It would be nice, but we're not expecting it. But the same kind of application, the same kind of desire to, pass, neat exchanges of passes, working with each other, having a better understanding of each other, knowing where everybody else is, getting crosses into the box and just taking shots. That's what we need, right? Anderson scored a similar goal. He was scoring for fun. Look, I mean, he hasn't done it for so long. That's the problem at Stel, has he? He hasn't done it for so long. This time last year, before Christmas last year, he was having a field day for about 3 or 4 weeks when Arnautovic was injured, I believe. Checking my memory banks. But, there we go. Move forward. Alex, to move forward in any real sense, we need a director of football who was not tied to the manager. I think this, it was at director level. A young Trevor Brooking, perhaps, but maybe somebody like Michael Carrick. Do you know what? This is exactly what Moyes identified in his first time at the club. The kind of fiasco, the shambles that was going on behind the scenes. You're absolutely right. You've got to have independence there. It was all a little bit, I didn't know any of this until 2 or 3 weeks ago. I honestly didn't. I'm not sure how many of you guys knew about, there was Pellegrini and Huzelis' son, and Pellegrini's son, and Sullivan, Jack was involved in the signings or the player identification. What an absolute load of nonsense. All that's got to stop. And we need a director of football, but he's got to be completely independent. But, absolutely. Right, so where are we? Was a great cross from Fredericks for Haller's goal too. Yeah, brilliant. I say Fredericks had a much better game for me. Much better game. Lots of crosses yesterday. Great to see, Justin. Absolutely right. I keep on saying that. David has that got that scary look. David has got that scary look and eyes that you would not want to let him down. Do you know what? he is. He kind of stares at you like that. You know, he's kind of got that. You know, those eyes. Yeah, absolutely right. The question is now: will the team push on? Will the team push on from here? How long, as they are asked to play with some freedom, then they will. If they are restricted, then we could go back to how it was. You see, this is the issue. This is what I'm fearful of, and I said this at the start. You know, how's he going to set up against Gillingham now in the Cup? Is he going to go in a second-tier team, or is he going to go for really on the front foot? Is he going to say, right, I want to entertain the fans, I really want to tap into what the fans want and deliver what we want and try 100% in every game? If he's going to do that, I think he's going to win us over. You know, win, lose or draw, I think he'll win us over. If he goes back to tactical, trying to play defensive, you know, playing a Man City, let's say, and just being totally ineffective, not even putting up a fight and getting stuffed 4-0, you know, that you'll soon get the heckles there. You know, I think it's got to be 100%. If you're going to win over all the fans that do not want Moyes in position, you've got to change their minds, and you've got to get people staying on their seats right to the final whistle. And the only way you're going to do that is with attacking football, you know, grit, determination. That's the only way you're going to do it, you know, from my opinion anyway. Gary, hello, how are you? Moyes is a man manager. They don't take crap from players. He will make the class players deliver their potential. Do you know what? I hope that's true, and I certainly get that impression. You know, everybody was saying Pellegrini's such a lovely chap and he's so mild-mannered and lovely, and all the players loved working with him. The problem is they all loved working with him, but they weren't producing. And this is the problem. Sometimes you need a leader up there. And now a leader does not necessarily mean that leader is going to be your best friend. In fact, a leader is never really going to be your friend. He's going to be somebody, or he or she is going to be somebody who stands back and he says, right, you do that, I'm in control, you do as I say, and that's it. It's a dictatorship. This is not, you know, a knitting circle here. This is a dictatorship. You do as I say, you play the way I want to play, and if you don't, you're out. And if he is a good man manager, and if he is, you know, going to, you know, rule with an iron fist, if you like, when it's warranted, but also be encouraging and nurturing when he has to be, because that's all part of it as well. You can't just be totally dictatorial. You've got to have a bit of both. I think he will. I think he will, you know, do it. And maybe that's what we've needed for too long, you know. Luke! Hello, Luke. How are you, mate? I wouldn't mind a second team against Gillingham, would you? You have to use a squad full of players to use and do a job, but it's about wanting it. Use some of the youth, fringe and first team players and get it done. Do you know what, Luke? I would absolutely agree with you. I would absolutely agree with you if we had been on a really good run of form and Moyes hadn't just taken over, and if we had already bedded in and blooded some of the youth, and we'd been successful with them. Like I say, like Holland, he'd come on and in previous matches, and he'd had lots of success. You know, something like that. But I just don't want to risk it. I just don't want to risk that kind of, you know, the players that haven't been playing, they're coming in, and you're going to be facing a Gillingham side who are going to be hungry because they're going to be playing against a Premier League side, and they're going to want to prove a point. And I think we're going to have to be really strong against them and really show them who's boss, because otherwise I think we will, you know, come up short if we're not careful. That's my opinion, but you know, I take your point. I do take your point. Sully back in charge of transfers again. You know, Gary, if he is back in charge, do you know what? Let's just see who he brings in. Let's just see who they bring in. I don't think that, although Sullivan, let's say, might get back into the transfer market himself, let's not forget they are the owners. They're going to have the final say anyway. But, you know, it's going to be whoever Moyes really wants as well. Now, also, we've got to get over this kind of thing where, oh, it's not Moyes' men and all players and all that kind of stuff. he's a coach. He's got to coach whoever he's got. If he doesn't get anybody else in, the squad should be good enough to do better than we are anyway. So whatever it is, I'm not convinced that Sullivan, and Gold should be anywhere near the transfer market. But I think this all comes back to having a proper structure at the club to identify players and all that kind of stuff. I just hope that they properly invest in the training facilities now at the club, and look at all that backroom stuff, all that structure, all the scouting, director of football if required. I've just got a feeling they've had their fingers burnt with the Zilos Pellegrini thing, and they're thinking, do you know what, we'll just do it our way. We'll do it a lot better. We've got a good manager now, down-to-earth manager who knows everything really about Premier League. He knows about the British game. He knows about UEFA and coaching and all of this kind of stuff. We'll just do it our way. All I can say is let's just see how we do. Jaswinder, Moyes will refreshingly have a different plan for every game, and sometimes it'll be all attack and sometimes set up to not give space to the opposition. Whatever we do, it will be done sensibly. Do you know what? I agree. Look, I don't believe, and I've said this time and time again, that you can have the same tactics for every single opposition. It just doesn't work. You just cannot do it because you will come up short. And this is when Pellegrini first came in. Those first four games that we lost. The very first game, I said there's a problem here. I said tactically we've got an issue here with Pellegrini, because if he's going out like this against a great team like Liverpool as it was, then we're going to struggle. This season, opening game was at Man City, similar kind of thing. And I said, do you know what? We're not as good as them. We need to be better than that. And he never changed his tactics for different kinds of teams. And I think you're right. Moyes will do that. Fans might not like it, but that's what we need. Sometimes we need to hold off on the attacking stuff and not park the bus, but certainly be a lot more resolute in defence. And I think different tactics for different teams. Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. We're singing from the same hymn sheet here, you and I. Absolutely. Not a full-on Pellegrini attack with no care for the defence. Yeah, I agree. There wasn't enough going forward. There was too much possession football. And I've said this time and time again. I was convinced that Pellegrini had told all the players to say, do not, under any circumstances, give the ball away. Do not take a shot on goal if you're not absolutely sure that you can get that ball on target. And I think that's what's made them lose all their confidence in front of goal in the final third. They just didn't know what he wanted. They knew what the basic plan was, but they didn't know how to properly execute it. They were lost. They always looked lost. But in this game, if we can gauge one thing about Moyes and one thing about the team, in this game, every player knew exactly what they had to do. And if we ever had any doubt about Moyes, and I've had my doubts, and I hold my hand up, I've absolutely got no problem with that. If we have any doubt, you just gauge how Masuaku played when he came on, right? Masuaku came on, and I was fearful. I thought, oh my, here we go. First of all, I thought he was going to take off Creswell because he just got the booking, of course. And we'll talk about that in a minute. And I thought he was going to put him in left back. I thought, oh, crikey, here we go. This ain't going to work. But no, he put him up there, left midfield. And he was I thought, whilst he didn't do a great deal and whilst he was very conservative, he was about stifling the play. It was about, just let's keep possession, calm it all down, slow it all down. Do you know what? That's from Moyes. That's from Moyes telling him, you get in there, don't do all your fancy stuff, do a bit of trickery, but make sure you keep possession. And he did it. And he did it well. So, well, Sigurd, Moyes does not want to win the cup. I support playing our strongest team in the cup, but I think he will not be in any danger in much. Moyes does not want to win the cup. I think he does want to win the cup. I'm just fearful that as he's come in January now, he's on a rescue mission for the club. He's and the ultimate goal is 100% to save and keep us in the Premier League. That's it. But I do think he wants to win it. I do think he wants to have a good cup run. I just think it's about him now having the right strategy for the cup and the Premier League. Would he do it? I don't know. He said he was doing a lot of work with UEFA. Do you know what type of work he was? He was doing a lot of background stuff, wasn't he? I think he was doing a lot of coaching. He was doing a lot of coaching masterclasses. He was doing a lot of regulatory stuff, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but there we go. Oh, it must. Okay, Siggo. Yeah, he does want to win the cup. Yeah, that's right. I think he does. I was going to say he does not want to win the cup. No, does want to win the cup. Yes, that's right. Sorry, I misread it. Sorry, he does. Yeah. Yes, I know. I know. My eyes. It's my eyes. Sorry, Neil. Look, you're all the way down there, and you could read it properly, and I'm right here, and I can't read it. There we go. Yeah, he does want to win the cup, and I agree. I think he does want to win it. Sorry about that. Right. Anyway, look, I think overall the performance was fantastic. If I had any criticism, I know I'm opening myself up to a volley of abuse from all of you. I know this. If there was a criticism, and I don't know if you noticed it, especially in the first half, Haller and Anderson especially, those two players, a lot of their passes, a lot of their touches were a little bit wayward. You know, especially from Haller. He laid it off a couple of times and the ball went nowhere. And it was just, it's almost like the weight of the pass wasn't right from both of them. There was a lot of misplaced passes from those two. And I think another team would have capitalised on that and everything. Let's not forget, whilst West Ham were fantastic, Bournemouth were really, really, yeah, it was almost got to the point I almost felt sorry for them at how poor they were and how bad they were playing and how things were going wrong for them. They kind of reminded me of us, you know, and how bad we have been. But, you know, at least they had the injuries, all the injuries that's been plaguing them, you know, to blame, I suppose. But anyway, look, we played brilliantly. I think, you know, if we got Haller and Anderson working well with each other right at the top, if Antonio comes back, you know, if they can play off a two, you know, if we've got options, you know, if Moyes has got options going forward, if he's got that structured, if he, you know, I'll be interested to see if he reverts to three at the back. I wasn't expecting him to in this game, but I thought he might. But the second thoughts, I thought, you know what, he's not going to change it too much. He's not going to change it at all. He's just going to keep it so the players have continuity. And I think he played it just right, Moyes, in this case. He's just like, right, I'm just going to keep on playing the way you play and see how it goes. Just I think some of the work Moyes in the FIFA was looking at new ways and tactics teams are playing now, including the modern passing game. Yeah. He's talked about Red Bull, Leipzig, and whoever the other Red Bull team are. Maybe that was a poor Bournemouth team, but really we didn't let them play because we were right that in the and we from the get-go as we pressed them and maintained the intensity. Oh, I mean, we ran. Yeah, absolutely right. Whether going forward or getting back, and that is something we really haven't done all year. Look, we were just 100% better all round, weren't we? 100% better. But look, you know, are we going to put this forward? You know, are we going to continue this forward in the cup games? Are we going to continue this in the Premier League games? You know, as you know, as some of you have been saying, you know, what the tactics going to be against different teams. You know, is he going to be able to change the tactics? Is he going to look at different systems? Is he going to change personnel that are going to be suited for that? No doubt, in my mind, we need to keep a fresh and hungry Noble. We need to keep a fresh and hungry Snodgrass and Rice. You know, that and Creswell needs to be in there. Now, this is a side issue. Everybody's talking about VAR at the moment, and I couldn't agree more. It's kind of killing the game in many ways. But the decisions it's making, they're fundamentally right decisions overall. The problem is, it's not the VAR that's the issue, in my opinion. A lot of it is just how it's been implemented, but also the rules at which it's basing it on. So that's a different subject. But the thing with Creswell here, this was an interesting one, because if VAR wasn't there, you could argue that that was definitely a sending off offence, because he got the ball, but he went through the player afterwards. And when you first saw it, you thought, well, okay, yeah, he got the player, but yeah, he went through it. In the referee's eyes, definitely, he said, no doubt in my mind, you're off, right? Read the card. But VAR looked at it and obviously said, like, this is only a yellow card. Now, we're all thinking, no, you can't send the guy off for a good challenge. And he didn't actually make contact with the other player with his feet, which is really important. It was just kind of his legs wrapped around and that kind of thing. You know, but yeah, I know there's follow through, but at the same time, you know, you can't make challenges and tackles non-physical. Otherwise, what's the point in even playing the game? Yeah, look, it was a yellow card. I think it was a yellow card. I think that was fine because of the follow through. I just don't think it was a red card. VAR worked for us in that respect. I don't think many people are protesting under that. Let's have a look. Testing 1, 2, 3. Tim, hello. Tim Julian, hello. I think the test will come and we will play Everton. See how good we. Yeah. I'm using voice microphone cables. Right, okay. I think the test will come. Yeah, definitely under the different teams that we're going to play. I think there'll be a different test every single game, and I think it'll be a different test with depending on the styles that they want to adopt as well. You know, it is just about having a committed performance, whether we get the results or not. It's about, I've always say this, it's always about the performances, and it's always about how committed we are going to be. And if you know the likes of, you know, Creswell, as I say, Rice, Noble, Snodgrass, those are the ones for me who are the backbone of the team now. They're the ones, whether we think as individual fans that they are the best quality or not in terms of Noble, Snodgrass, and, you know, Creswell, for example, whether you think that we need a better left back or whatever, that's kind of irrelevant right now, because these are the players that we got right now. These are the ones that we have to look at, you know. But they're the ones that we have to bank on. These are the ones that Moyes has to bank on as well, and he's the ones who are going to trust. He said, right, I need stable players who are hungry and who are fighters, and we need fighters there. And the problem is, we need fighters every single week. You know, we are not a Man City, a Liverpool, you know, a Barcelona, whatever. You know, we don't have the players who are confident with each other, who are skillful at that level, and who are consistent at that level. We just don't have it. It's never going to be like that until we get taken over by some oligarch who's going to, you know, do the whole thing, you know, who's going to buy us a new squad or whatever. And that's just not going to happen. So I think, you know, we have to look at that. We have to look at where we're at. We have to look at, you know, the players that we've got, who we can rely on, and who are going to be up for the fight. And I think that kind of enthusiasm, that will spread throughout the squad and make everybody do it. But it all comes from strong leadership at the top. If we've got Moyes at the top, or whoever manager, got strong coaching staff, and also behind the scenes, that all gets sorted out as well, I think we've got a good chance of not only surviving, but I think we've got a good chance of, you know, getting up the table and possibly having a good cup run. Let's not forget now, but all the other teams around us are also starting to perform well and get results. You know, Watford, Southampton, you know, doing great stuff. You know, Bournemouth were there in the fight. You know, Villa, they're in the fight, but they, you know, they're Norwich as well. They're in the fight. They are putting on decent performances. Yeah, results might not be going their way, but they are putting on decent performances. So we cannot rest on our laurels, and I hope that's what Moyes is saying to the players. Do not rest on your laurels. Do not get complacent. We, you know, the fans expect, we expect, and I expect you to show up every single game in every single training session. You know, to you know, whatever. And you You know, I'm hoping that they don't go. He doesn't take him off to Miami for a holiday. Although it did work that time, I got to say, it seemed to be anyway. I think we've got rid of some of the trouble players, and Arnautovic and everything. I'm just wondering, under Moyes, Arnautovic wasn't playing up, but under Pellegrini he played up. And I'm just wondering whether Moyes was the right kind of manager to say to Arnautovic, is like, oi, you, come here. Don't mess about on my watch, you know what I mean? Whereas Pellegrini didn't know how to handle him. Maybe that's why he, went off. Maybe, I don't know. I have nothing to substantiate that, but there we go. Richard, hello, good evening. Bournemouth are the worst team we have played this season, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. You're probably right there, but I am going to get ahead of myself there because I think we had a fantastic performance and we played a lot better than we have done. But you're absolutely right in that they weren't a great opposition for us. The test is going to be against the better teams, but that is always the case. That's always going to be the case. It's going to be no different, from any other year. We've got to, face each opposition in turn, and we've got to play them and with a certain amount of tactics for each individual game as well. And if they're not up to the task, that's it. But we've still got to be 100%. And in this game, all the players were 100% in my opinion. They all played fantastically well. They defended brilliantly. I've got to have a big mention for Balbuena. I thought had a great game, but a big mention for Ogbonna, who, do you know what? Every game he seems to have a great performance, and he's kind of going under the radar a little bit. For me, there'll be two hammers of the year right now. I don't know what yours would be right now, but there'll be two who are kind of neck and neck in my eyes. Ogbonna is definitely up there. And he shouldn't have been dropped. He should never have been dropped in those occasions because every time he comes in, he does a great job. But, Ogbonna and Snodgrass, I think those are the two players who have been consistently fighting and trying to produce good performances as well. Justin, we did press, and it was great to finally see it, especially at home, but possession stats were in their favour, 65-35 first half. They're going down, in my opinion. Yeah, look, I mean, but again, look, this is what Pellegrini was always, focusing on, wasn't it? Possession. Well, actually, we don't need possession. We need product. We need something to happen. Moyes was saying that he's been studying, local trends recently, the last couple of years, and actually, a lot of teams are going backwards in terms of tactics, and there's a lot of long ball. Look at Tottenham. Look at the way a lot of their goals have come in recent months, even before Mourinho, and Mourinho adopted it as well. Long ball from the back. Other teams have been doing it as well. Do you know what? Cut out the melee. If you've got somebody who can run onto a ball over the top, cleaning on goal. Leicester pretty much won the league that year with Vardy doing the same thing. Just running in, counter-attacking, running in behind. That's what it is, That's right. Yeah, possession means nothing, really. If, you ain't going to get the ball in the net or not taking a shot on goal, and that's what we need to do, yeah. Right, anyway, but look, thanks for joining me on this West Ham Oi Oi show. I wanted to do it live because I thought, I'm all excited. And we are all excited about the game, the performance, the result, the 4 goals, the way we took them apart. Is this the dawn of a new era? I don't know. I'd like to think so, but do you know what? I think it's refreshing. It's refreshing to see this from a team that has struggled for so long. It's refreshing to see Moyes come in with a really good attitude. He hasn't really said too much about what went on in the past. He's basically got on with his job. The board haven't really said too much either. They just want it. Get professional. Let's get it done. And metal in both legs. Cheers, up. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Yeah. Luke, is show. Here we go. I don't know why that's. Luke, yeah, Rice's left finger, or pinger, I should say, to Anderson was passing porn. It was. I don't know why, but that sort of, I had to approve that thing. Maybe because it was said porn on there. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, look. It was, look, it's great. Look, it's great. I think lots of people, interesting to see if there's a new one here. Do you think Eddie Howe failed his interview yesterday? Because everybody keeps on saying, Eddie Howe, you know, and you know, some other managers but haven't been doing very well. Sean Dyche, they haven't been doing very well recently. And you know what? It's, you know, I was never keen on those managers either. And I'm thinking, well, I'm not, I think, do you know what? I'm not sure who would have been the best manager for us. I think, you know, we still are in survivor mode. We need a manager that could come in and sort us out. I think we've got it based upon yesterday. We're all buzzing for it. Let's hope we build on it. Let's hope that all the players can feel confident to go and express themselves, to put in a performance, put in a fight for the manager, fight for each other, know what each other wants to do, and you know what, fight for the fans, and that's what we want, you know. But I do think he's failed his job interview. Do you know what? I don't think he ever had a job interview with us now, because I think, you know, we are committed to David Moyes for 18 months, and if he does a great job, yes, give him an extension, because we've got to give him time. This whole thing about expecting immediate results, we're like dried prunes right now. We're desperate for something just to, you know, moisture, just to fluff us out a little bit. But Moyes, we've got to give him time. We've got to give him time to build this recovery, to build this this plan that he's got, whatever he's got, to bring us some football that we really want to see, and some results we want to see. And if we survive under him, then it's going to be next year. Let's see what he can do. For me, under Pellegrini, when he first came in, I said, right, year one is kind of irrelevant. It was year two or season two. That's where I was really judged him. And it's just poor. It's just poor. That's why he's gone. That's why everybody was judging him, you know, unfairly. And I think this is it. We can't really judge Moyes until the end of the season, because as long as he keeps us up, that's it. It's job done. Well, I think where we judge him is next season and how he does, you know, under us. But do you know what? Long-term managers, is anybody going to be a long-term manager? You know, managing for the future and everything. I keep on saying that. I'm one of those people. Yeah, managing for the future. Look, all managers are only going to last about 3 or 4 years maximum anyway. Then there's probably going to be, you know, there's going to be a poor run of form, as all teams do, and then that's it. Everybody, you know, on you go, and that's how we get a new manager in, freshen things up. That's the way it is. But anyway, listen, thanks for joining me tonight on this audio show. Look, we've got to take it to Gillingham. In my opinion, we've got to go 100%. And I just don't want the momentum to end. I just want us to build on it. And that's what I think is really important for the next game. But, if we can, in the January transfer window, if you can go out there, if we can buy sensibly, buy players that are going to hit the ground running and know the Premier League, and they're going to be tough mentally and physically for the Premier League, then go for it. But otherwise, we should have a decent enough squad that should be playing better than they are, and hopefully they'll give us something to cheer about. Richard, avoiding relegation rather than an FA Cup run is Moyes' priority. It probably is, Richard. It probably is. I'm hoping it isn't. I'm hoping he will go 100% in the FA Cup. I hope he's learned from the first time he was with us that he almost threw away the FA Cup and the League. I think he was in charge of the League Cup, wasn't he? I think it was one of his early games was with the League Cup. And I think he and I agree with Neil here. I think he should, and I think he will do it. I think he will give us what we want, at least a good effort. But I could be proven wrong. I never say fact, because you can never say fact until something has actually happened. I'm just hopeful that he will go 100%. I'm hopeful he would give it the credence that it deserves, and I hope that we do get a good run in the cup. Anyway, listen, that's it. I'm out of here. All I can say is what a great result. Fantastic play. Players, you did yourselves proud. And that's what we want from you. You did yourselves proud. You did us proud. We were jumping for joy. You know, wherever you are in the world, we've all got smiles on our faces. We've got some hope back. That's what we wanted. We've got some hope back. The players did that. Moyes did that. And we, the fans, we can feel that and we can get behind that as well. And that is, in my opinion, that is top draw. And that's what we wanted. Anyway, listen, Happy New Year to everybody. If I haven't said it before, Happy New Year. Thanks for tuning in. Gillingham next, and then back to the Premier League. And, well, I'll be back for another oi show. And hopefully it's an oi show. I don't want to grumble after the after what I've been ranting on about for the last half an hour or whatever. But anyway, see you after the Gillingham game, and thanks very much. Cheers, Neil. Thanks very much, and Happy New Year to everybody. One thing left to say, it's, no, not that, it's up the hammers. You know me. Right, catch you again. Ta-da then. Right, I've got to turn this off now. Hold on. It is...